Hello viewers, this is Say-La-Vee and welcome back to another episode of our All the Mod 6 series, episode 16. Okay, so we are back here next to our bees. So what we have done, not much time has passed since last episode. Well, I guess time has passed, but I haven't done much. I built this space around our beehives. So in here we've got a mason bee and a dirty bee, and then I think this one is taken up by the two quartz bees that we got from the nether. And they are just producing combs. We have been collecting them. We've got some dirt here for the dirty bee. I found that between episodes over there in the field. The clay for the mason bee, and then these are blocks of quartz for the quartz bee. And then I installed an elevator to get in and out. I made it white just so it kind of flushes with that a little bit better. Just so I can come in and out of this place and not have to worry about the bees getting out through a door. The only other thing I've really done is I have taken a step back and looked at what we need to do to move forward through the quest line in Resourceful Bees to get the Wither Bee. So if we hop in here into our backpack, I actually made a book so we could keep ourselves in check called Bee Progression. So if we take a peek here, this is what we need to do to move forward. So the end goal here is the Wither Bee. So the Spooky Bee and the Magma Bee breed together to make the Blazing Bee, which we need to breed with the Lumber Bee to make the Coal Bee. And then the Coal and then the Spooky again breed together to get the Withered Bee. And then in order to get the Netherite Bee, we need to breed the Lava and the Cob Bee to get the Stoned Bee. And then Stoned and Quartz need to breed together to get the Gold Bee. And then the Gold Bee needs to mutate a block of Netherite to get the Netherite Bee. So if we go here to Gold Bee, I've done some practicing in a creative world to figure out what they're capable of, what we need to make these things. We need to find a Stoned Bee, unfortunately. So, or we need to find a Cob Bee, which is this one here. They spawn anywhere in the world, it looks like. Nope, biomes. Okay, so we got to find some of these biomes here. Looks like just mountains. We got to find some mountains to get ourselves a Cob Bee. And then that Cob Bee is this quest here. So basically what I did is if you right click on a quest, it shows you its dependencies and its what it depends on, I guess. So in order to get the Wither Bee, we need the Netherite Bee and the Withered Bee. Withered Bee comes from Spooky and Coal. Coal comes from Blazing and Lumber. Blazing comes from Magma and Spooky. So that's how I figured all that out. And then in here in the Netherite, it says obtained by having a Gold Bee mutate a Nether block. So if we go back in here, we look at the uses for the Gold Bee and then block to item mutations. It will mutate a gold honeycomb into either an ingot or a jar with a gold bee in it. So that's how we can get more bees after, like if we don't have a second one to breed. And then we can also, with an 80% chance to get netherite out of netherite, or netherite scrap out of a netherite block, or a 20% chance to get a netherite bee out of a netherite block. So now you might be wondering, why is my inventory full of Botania stuff? So, this book is just our bee progression. That's just so I remember what we need to do to move forward with the bees. However, unless we go mine a bunch through the nether to find ancient debris, the way to get netherite, if we look it up real quick, netherite. In order to get netherite scrap, we get ancient debris or ancient debris chunks. We can get it from smelting, which that is, looks like some very interesting blood magic stuff that we don't have access to yet. Starlight infusion, cool, that's just to double it. Arc furnace just uses those again. Crushing with create, bulk blasting with create, milling with create, arc furnace. We don't want any of that. What we want, however, is how to get more of this. So I was kind of looking through, trying to figure out different ways that we could get this. Well, we might need to generate the ancient debris itself. So we can do that using the orchid, which is a flower from Botania. So we could get way further in there and then turn netherite. Where'd it go? Ancient debris. Yeah, so 64 netherite turns into 1 ancient debris. Netherrack, sorry. We could do that. That would be super easy. What I was looking at doing currently, though, is we are going to need more hopper hawks, because if we remember, those are what we used for our Botania pots. So, or not our Botania, but our Botany pots. So we've got some extra open ones over here. And something that we really need to do is we really need to start producing Inferium Essence through that process. Because right now all we have for Inferium Essence is this down here. So we can go in here, get our flux bore, pick up this farmland. Come here, farmland. Okay. Pick up this farmland. Let's get a Inferium seed. An Inferium essence. We're going to need 2 of those, actually. And then a drawer. There's a spruce drawer. Perfect. And the keys. So if we get our keys here, come over here, real slow like. Get that placed down. Lock and quantify that. Put the Inferium essence in there. Put those back up in our inventory. We're going to slap down a Prudentium, sorry, farmland. And then this other one was going to be the placeholder down here. So this is going to start producing Inferium essence, hopping it down into the barrel, and then of course getting drug into the system here, just like we've seen before with all this stuff. So in order to use this, let me start over. The thought was that we use this Inferium essence to produce over time, and then we can make ourselves netherite seeds. But we need Supremium because it's a tier 5 seed. So we're going to need a lot of stuff. We're only going to need 4 of this. But 4 times 4 is 16. So we need 16 of this. And then 16 times 4 is 64. So we're going to need 64 of these. And then times 4, and then times 4, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm talking about. It's going to be an interesting process. That is a way that we could get netherite infinitely, forever. Because we are going to need netherite down the line. My goal here, in a creative world, was to create a bunch more hopper hawks and then build a field using modular routers. So, actually, let's hop over into my creative world real quick and I will show you what I'm talking about. Alright, so here we are in my creative world that I do my testing. So this is what I was thinking of doing to gather our Inferium essence. So using Industrial Foregoing, we can dive further into, if we go to plant, turn off our cheat mode there. I have my cheat mode config, by the way, set to shift and space at the same time. So this will enable cheat mode. This is where you can grab things. If you shift click, you can get 64 of them, and then shift click turns it off, and then that's how you go back to viewing recipes. So just a fun little tip about JEI. But the plant gatherer is here made by a pity machine frame with some simple things. We can make one of these no problem in our world, which we will eventually for the production of a couple of things. But the plant sower just uses a flower pot, some iron gears, some pistons. So it's not necessarily cheaper, but it is a little different in the way that it's created. So if we go down here, we've got a plant sower being fed an infinite amount of Inferium seeds. So this is all full with a range add-on of +4. So if we turn on that working area up here on the top, it's doing this whole 9 by 9. It is planting seeds going in a row. The way that these machines work is they go in a row from like one corner to the next, and then they filter down in lines. So we've got the Terra glass that we have in our world, and then a lily pad of fertility, which if we look up here, lily pad of fertility, it's not too hard to make. We could probably put one of these together, but the biggest thing is this Supremium growth accelerator, which is ridiculously expensive. And from the testing that I've done, it's actually not as effective as I thought it would be. This Terra glass proves to be a little bit more useful. And then also, if we get something like our watering can that we have in our world, we can do this crazy setup and make it much, much faster. So what this is doing is this working area is breaking the crop instead of right-clicking. So you see how we've got some empty spaces here. Eventually the plant sower will come through. It will do its job, and it will sow new seeds into these spots where they will then grow. This breaks it. It then places the sludge that it creates up here into this black hole. Yep, sludge. And then also over here into this drawer controller where we've got 525 Inferium Essence and 190 seeds. So using our watering bucket, we've produced that much. But this over here, I've been doing some testing. This is the garden cloche, what I originally wanted to work at getting from Immersive Engineering. This is not fast at all. I've sat here and watched this for a while. It takes a long time for this to go through its process. So the other idea that I had was that we take a modular router, fill it up 8 ways. So this is only 7 because I built a 7x7. So each one of these modules highlights a line of barrels, and then it pulls out the essence from each barrel, shoves it into the router, and then the router then distributes all of its contents with 9 speed upgrades into the drawer controller. So in the time that this has been running, we've gotten 543. This has gotten 1300. So this is a much faster method. The problem is that this is a 7x7. So that's 49 hopping bonsai pots. We would have to make 49 of those in survival, obviously, because this is a creative world. And then, remember how I showed you that broken bone meal thing? Well, we can put a modular router here. We can fill it with speed upgrades. And then, if we go down here, do @modular, we get ourselves back into cheat mode. Get a activator module. And yeah, I think that's all we need. So turn off our cheat mode for now. Get rid of that sync. Oh, I guess I wasn't in cheat mode. So when you're in cheat mode, you can click items in here to delete them. Fun little tidbit for you. So go into the activator module. We're going to activate the front action, which is just our standard right click. Boom. And then if we throw in some bone meal, it is going to rapidly increase the speed at which this produces Inferium. The problem is that this fills up a little bit quicker because the way that these modules work is they go round robin. So it's looking at all 7 of them, and then this will back up after a while. So a way that we can fix that is if we go in here, get a distribution module, we can specify only that one and then put it in there. Oh no. Did I break that? Oh, I did break it. Okay, yeah. So I sorted. Don't sort this inventory. It breaks it a little bit. But this is pulling directly from that barrel. So it's doing its round robin as normal, but then when this has bone meal in it, bone meal. Nope. Let's grab a stack of that. It is going to produce significantly faster, and we can watch this go a lot quicker out of that barrel. So now we're over here up to 1600. So with the tertium farmland, that's something that we should note because that's going to produce more Inferium. So this is kind of what I'm hoping for an Inferium setup, so we can get those higher tier essences down the line without needing to worry about our mob farm So we are back here in our Let's Play world. So this is just going to produce Inferium Essence over time, and we'll see how that does. We can probably upgrade that Prudentium farmlands. We could even do it twice. So I will look into doing that eventually. And then for now, I'm going to go back to creating, so the recipe for the Hopper Hawk, if we forgot, is some light gray petals, some redstone roots, and some rune of airs. So I have just been doing this number to create the rune, let it finish off its mana production, and then I slap it. So we've got 8 so far. So I'm going to work on this for a little while, and then probably bring you back for our little adventure across the world to try and find a cob bee so we can get to the bee breeding process. So while I'm standing around crafting these, I remembered that we don't need to go super crazy on our adventuring. We have this nature's compass, which if we look up in the top right there, I am searching for a wooded mountains, because if we go back into our inventory here, let's finish this real quick so we're not wasting our time. Boop, 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 boop. Alright, so hit the right button. If we go back to the cob bee and go to uses, or recipes, I guess, depending on which way you want to click it, they both work. The information here shows that it's just mountains. So wooded mountains here is one of the first one, and it is a relatively close location. So it's 24 blocks away. So once I'm done crafting a handful more of these, I will bring you back and we will go find those wooded mountains. Alright, so I am here making these runes, and I tell you what, it's not bad. I love the crafting system in Botania. However, this area needed some upgrades. So let me walk you through some of the upgrades that I managed to cobble together using my own brain hole, and I am quite proud of. This was there last time. I'm sure you may have noticed it with me looking around. But this is just pulling round robin the resources out of this chest and then dispensing equal amounts into the hoppers, the droppers here. And then obviously on the back we still have just the buttons to kickstart it. But the biggest problem with the Petal Apothecary is that you can right click with an empty hand to fill the previous recipe. Then you have to drop a seed on it to craft it. Then you have to click it with a full bucket. Well, the annoying part's going back and forth with the bucket. So what have I done to automate this? So using a modular router, we are right-clicking using an activator module specifically whitelisted with a water bucket. Then we are sending whitelist a bucket over to this basic fluid tank. The bucket gets put on the input, new water bucket comes out of the output. This is being filled infinitely from the sink that we were using to set up the hydro engines. So infinite water here, and then this is pulling, whitelisted, a water bucket from this. So if we watch this in action, we've got two of those, a redstone root, a rune of air, and then when we throw this on there, it activates the bucket, throws back the empty, pulls back the water, and then it activates this with the water that was in there. So we can right-click, throw, right-click, throw, right-click, throw, right-click, throw, and it is super convenient. And, I mean, am I proud of it? Yeah. Am I the first to think of it? Probably not. Another piece of automation that is super simple and can be done with, I'm pretty sure, even dispensers. You don't need modular routers. However, I set this up a couple episodes ago, and I'm sure you've seen me fly over it, but this is what this is. So this chest over here on the right, we put petals into it, and it pulls the petals from the chest above it, and then places the petals. So this places a petal on the ground, and then this one pulls bone meal out of this chest, and then activates it using just a standard right-click bone meal on here. And then if we go into our thing, make sure that because of our block reach, we can reach that. So make sure we're looking up just a little bit past that, and then just hold down our left click. We instantly break each flower that places, And we could have this run through a whole bunch of different kinds of flowers. It doesn't just have to be these two. So then what we can do is, instead of duplicating these and placing huge fields of them, we can just do this instead. All that work, all those fun automations, and boom, 10 hopper botany pots. Wonderful. All right, and all that automation and fun Botania exploration brought us to this, a little setup. This is just inferium blocks and some glowstone because I guess why not? So this is just so we can see it from a distance, and it keeps the area bright at nighttime in case these torches don't for some reason. But in here, all we've got is 2 distribution modules, each selecting 5 of these drawers, or barrels, I guess. And then they are using a sender module instead of a distributor module into this drawer controller, which we are collecting our essence. So we have one over here that we will move eventually. We've got 3 empty spots here, and each of those can hold 8. So if we make one more hopper hawk, we could put 2 more on this side and 2 more on this side and have this sucker be a full producing wonderfulness. Or we might just put the barrels up top here, kind of build it like a cute little, I don't know, post pillar thing. So now that we are done with the inferium that I had in mind, let us hop onto our hover jetpack, crank up the throttle to 100, and let's float our way over to the wooded mountains. And it looks like we have arrived here at a regular mountain biome. And I got here. Oh, a mason bee. Oh, I thought that was a cobble bee already. But either way, I got all the way over here and realized I don't have any bee jars. Saw him. There he is. Our cob bee. What is this one? A gravelly bee. We don't have one of those either. That is a zombie, which we have. That is a spider bee. Okay. A witch hut. I haven't seen one of those in a while, in a very long time. I noticed that there were some other interesting bees around here too. There were like ice bees spawning, I believe. But all I need is, I would like to find another cob bee. And then we can get home and we can possibly start getting into the breeding oh, here he is. Never mind, that's a mason bee. We can start getting into that breeding process. I found a Stan bee. I don't know what that's for. In loving memory of Stan Lee. That's awesome. We have found an interesting little friend here. A Basil. He is actually a mob we were looking for. Alright, so I sat around there for quite a while. I want to say 20 minutes waiting for another cob bee to spawn, and I did not see one. So I am flying back to base now with our Stan bees and the cob bee that we were able to find. So we land here real quick. Let's run over to our situation here. Dump those, dump our Stan bees. We don't need the gravelly bee. What we're here for is the cob bee. So let's get a hive. Let's get a dark oak hive, why not? And what do they use for a flower? So we right click on them, bee flowers. It uses, looks like any kind of cobblestone. So let's get cobble. Let's turn down our jetpack back to 60. Install the new one up there. And then let's get this guy there. Let's put the cobblestone and the cobblestone. And then boom, we have our little cob bee, and he should It looks like he's trying. He wants to go up there. Look at all of the bees came out. I don't know why they always go to that block, but they run into each other over that block, and then they do nothing. Confuses me. I don't know if he's doing his thing. Okay, I guess he's gone now. That would make me think that he's doing his thing, so let's smoke this whole area. Smoke those. Scrape what we can off of it. I found out that it is just the fact that it needs to be full in order for it to work. And then the interesting part about these regular like bee nests was that they hold 2 bees, but they're not unique types. So I think the bee hives, like this one here, it just says max of 4 bees. I don't know if that's something that we need to get into to hold more bees. I think we should definitely get one because it has more honeycomb maximum. So you know what? Instead of talking about doing it and not actually doing anything, let's do that. Let's put those away. Put our bee jar back. Tier 1 beehive. So it looks like we need grass. So it's a good thing we have shears. Let's go over here and let's shear some grass. Woohoo, we did it. Alright. So we go back in here and we can make our first hive. Let's use these oak ones. Boom. And we're back. I have in my hands what we are going to need to breed our little friends here. So let's see if we can't get them to breed. They should do what... Oh. It looked like that did not work. And we are going to have to wait 300 seconds, I believe, in order for that to go. So, built a new little pen here, right next to the other one, with some magma blocks and some logs for our lumber bee and some bone blocks for the spooky bee. Because we are going to need this spooky bee and this lumber bee once we get the other bee blazing, the blazing bee here, to breed. So I have been collecting all of our combs. I have 2 tier 1 beehives in each of these locations. So I think there's 5 bees over here currently. We've got 2 quartz bees, 1 mason, 1 cob bee, and then 1 dirty bee. And then over there we've got 1 lumber, 1 spooky, and 1 magma. So I have just been collecting here and doing what we do. So I'm going to try again in just a moment to get another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to try this again, and hopefully we can get these little fellas to want to breed. So I'm just going to hang out here. Oh wait, actually, something that I did want to do is where we have this over here producing healing potions. What I wanted to do was get some of these, and I guess it would be over here, the gunpowder. And I want to brew us, we could probably move this brewing stand, some splash potions of healing. So then when the bees in there get hurt by those magma blocks, we can heal them up. I also added, while I was waiting for those bees to produce, I finished bringing over these 3 barrels. And in the time that we have been doing this episode, we are already above 2,000 Inferium experience, or Inferium essence. So this is most certainly a effective route of resource gathering. So let's run back over here. Wait for, I guess it's nighttime, so our bees are going to be sleeping. So let's place down our sleeping bag, take a little nap. Okay, put that away. And now we should be able to heal up our bees. Alright, so let's get these back. They are still on cooldown. So I'm just going to sit here and wait, and I'll be back. Right over there is our little dirty bee doing his little pollination. And these guys are ready again. So let's do it. Let's hope. Ah, there he is. A little blazing bee. He's the cutest. Why is he shooting out fire? Oh my god, he's on fire. He's not gonna set stuff on fire, is he? I really hope not. Okay, so what do they use for a flower? Blaze mesh from Botania. So let's go get ourselves a couple of those. I think it's blaze rods. Yeah. Let's get 2. I like to make it definitely appear better. So we can do... Where do we want them? Let's put here and here. And now we've got a cute little baby blazing bee who is just going to apparently set on fire and shoot particles everywhere for almost 1200 seconds. So he is alive and well, and he is going to start doing his own little baby bee dance. Oh, he's so cute. I love this thing. I definitely have heard negative things about this mod in my time of watching YouTube, just because it's a pain in the butt to breed them and everything. But boy, the Minecraft bees are so adorable. I have a plush of like the vanilla Minecraft bee, and it makes me very happy. But I do think where the past couple of episodes have been pretty long, that we are going to call this one here. So if you have any comments, leave them down in the comment section below. If you like the video, like it. If you dislike it, dislike it. If you want to come back for the next episode, I do try and post at least once or twice a week. And I'm sure you already know that, unless you're just stumbling into this video and you made it to the end. But I do appreciate all of the support thus far, and I hope that you have a good morning, or a good night, or a good evening, or good afternoon, or good day, whatever it is for you. This is Say-La-Vee. Bye-bye.